Hi, folks. This is another segment of Urban Engagement Initiatives Container to Table segment. And this is how we are starting our Fish and Five Loaves program, which is to feed you all. Um, COVID over the last year has caused some interesting supply chain issues, and it's an opportunity to hit that reset and for all of us to find ways to eat healthier while still saving some money. Urban food deserts is a thing, and in Baltimore, where we are, it's a big thing. So, this is a way of individuals and organizations being able to meet the need that so many people are going through. Now, a lot of the things you see on the table today, well, no, let me go back. All of the things you see on the table today are things that we started some weeks back from seeds. So I'm going to transplant a few things, I'm going to talk about a few things, and as always, you can find us on Facebook at Urban Engagement Initiative. You can find me personally, Pastor Shannon Wright, on Facebook. You can watch the videos, you can share the videos, you can message and ask questions. So let's get started. We've got our supplies. We've got everything here that needs to be transplanted, a couple of containers ready, some add-ins, if you will, to go with it. We've got some perlite, some peat moss, some wood chips for drainage at the bottom, and some coffee grinds. A lot of plants require organic, natural materials, all sorts of things for extra nutrients. So each plant needs a different type of soil. So we'll get into all that in a later episode. But right now, these are basil plants that have really grown nicely. So this fella needs a bigger home. See the nice big pretty leaves? We can actually start pinching off those leaves and using it now. But it needs a bigger pot, and we are almost at that time where it can go outside, but we're not quite there yet. So this fella is going to go in the greenhouse. I'm going to pull it out. I squeeze the cup just to loosen the soil so I don't disturb the root. This pot was already prepped and ready for him. So he likes a drier soil with more organic material, so I'm going to add a little bit of peat moss to it. Now you may notice in earlier segments my nails were always done. And they're done now, but they need a little work. When you get further into your planting season and you're working on where your plants are going to be outside and working on the plants, well, there is some wear and tear, just so you know. So you might want to find a place to fix that, knowing that that's going to happen, or wear gloves. I don't work well with gloves, but that's just me. I like to keep the plants centered and as straight as possible. So I'm going to add dirt to him and get him done. Sometimes the stalks are not as sturdy as you'd like them to be, so a little stick to stake him up. This one doesn't really need to be tied, but a little something to lean on. And now he is transplanted and ready to go. And we're going to keep it moving. Now, we do a lot of herbs and a lot of vegetables, and we do both. Because one of the things that we have found with COVID, and I'm just going to move around a bit, so bear with me. One of the things that we have found with COVID is that communities that have gaps in terms of health and care and things of that nature, a lot of it comes from high blood pressure, diabetes, and things of that nature. So the more herbs you use to flavor your food, the less salt you'll use, which will be better for your blood pressure. So there are reasons why we grow different things. The vegetables to give you some of the things that you need, the herb for flavoring so that you use less salt. And although salt may taste good, it is not our friend. Now, as I said, I've got some cups already prepped because I knew what I was transplanting. Now, maybe next week, maybe as soon as next week, we're going to get a chance to show you the greenhouse, which is where all of these things have been finding a home until it's warm enough to put them outside. These are pink beans, grown from seed, and they're going to get transplanted. I color code, as I said, everything, just because when I look at it, then I know what it is, and I label. So these blue cups are where the pink beans go. We have some pinto beans over there, which are going to go in the red cups, and corn go in a different type of red cup. This is our corn over here. So we're just going to keep it moving and transplant and get it going. So when you think of things that you can do to be healthier, everybody thinks of veggies, and that's a good thing. But beans are also really good. They provide a lot of protein. Meat prices have gone through the roof. So sometimes you need another source of protein that's a little bit more cost effective, and beans are a great way of doing that. So when you're going to transplant your beans, you want to squeeze this up a little bit to loosen up your plants, because you don't want to damage anybody while you're transplanting them. You want to pull it out by section if you can, lay it down. Then you want to separate it, again, carefully, because you don't want to damage the roots. You take your cup that you've already prepped with your material, and remember, you always want to make sure that whatever container you are planting in has a hole at the bottom, and wood chips or some sort of little stones or something to give you a good source of drainage, because you don't want your plants to die. They can get a thing called root rot, and yes, it is really a thing, and you don't want that, because then your plant dies. So you've got your pot, you're gonna add some dirt to it. Now for me, these obviously are gonna get transplanted again, so I put 3 in a cup. They can't stay that way forever or for long, honestly, because the roots will get too compacted and folks will start fighting in the cup to see who's going to be king and gets to live, and we don't want that. So you put them in someplace sunny until it is warm enough and you're past frost danger to be able to put them in a larger container. And in the next few weeks, we'll get into what those larger containers need to look like and how to transplant them once so that they can stay in whatever you put them in for the season. Now, another interesting fact about beans, any source you look at will tell you you need to plant your beans, new seeds, every 6 to 8 weeks to get an uninterrupted supply of beans throughout the season. Because you may get a week where there's a whole bunch, and then you may get a week where there's none, and then they may seem like they stop producing, and that can happen with beans. So every 6 to 8 weeks or so, you want to plant some more. So these are now 3 pink bean plants, transplanted and ready to go out to the greenhouse. So we're going to keep it moving. There are so many vegetables out there that you can eat and plant and grow and feed your family and stay healthy. So you have to decide. One thing, don't ever grow something to eat that you don't want to eat. Some folk do. They say, oh, this is easy to grow. I'm going to grow this and then I'm going to learn to like it, or whatever the case may be. It don't work that way. So grow the things that you like to eat. So for us, we do a lot of beans. We don't do rice like we used to. So we've got the pink beans and some pinto beans, some Mexican beans. We've got over here some beets, some corn, some turnip greens, some turnips, and some asparagus beans. This is just what we're transplanting this week. As I said, soon we'll be able to take you outside and show you the greenhouse where everything has been growing, and it's beautiful out there. So you may think, well, if you've got all this going so far, maybe it's too late for us. It's March. Now is the time. Get some seeds, get some dirt, and start planting. Within the next couple of days, as a matter of fact, you will be able to go on Urban Engagement Initiative's Facebook page, click the link, and go straight to Container to Table and buy your seeds. We, this year, are going to be selling seeds, mostly beans, peppers, and tomatoes. So you can do this. COVID has taught us all that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And together, we can be stronger and healthier. This is that time, again, for that reset, to be able to do the things you've always talked about doing and take the time now to be able to do it. A lot of us are still working from home, so you're there. Take this opportunity to make a positive step for yourself and your family, and by extension, your community. Don't wait for the government to ride in. Don't wait for the community group to ride in. Be a part of the solution yourself. My name is Pastor Shannon Wright. This is Urban Engagement Initiative, Container to Table Fish and Five Loaves. Again, pink beans, pinto beans, basil, beets, corn, turnip greens, asparagus beans, all your additives, all your containers. And just so you know, when you're watching these videos, you may say, well, that looks like the container we get from the garden. Now, you will see I have a stack of them empty, and I'm going to reach over here to grab it for you. Over the years, I have found that there are certain things I cannot grow, so I buy them once the season is ready. I keep the containers so that the next season I can plant my own things in them. But as for the rest of the containers, soup bowls, solo cups, take-out containers. You can do this, folks, without breaking the bank. You can do it with things that you have in your house. Maybe next week, we will go through the types of containers again that you can use and how to start from things that you have in your house. Again, don't be intimidated. Don't be nervous. You can do it. You need some dirt. You need some water. You need some sun. I can talk you through the rest of it. You can start to grow things that'll be healthy. And some people say, well, you know, I need food now. What am I going to do now that I will be able to start to use? Lettuces, cabbages, greens, all sorts of things. We're going to have some pictures up this week, some mini video tutorials, and we together are going to get you healthier, stronger, save you a couple of bucks, and you have no idea, unless you've done this before, the type of satisfaction you get from cooking something that you grew. My name is Pastor Shannon Wright. We're done for this week. Make sure you tune in next week. Like the page on YouTube, share it with your friends, and let's all do this thing together. Thank you.